Alrighty guys, in today's episode, as you can tell, we are not going to be building in the city today. After I get rid of these mobs, I can show you just where exactly we are. If we look on the map, you can see we are right over here, and then if you go straight right, we are pretty decently far away from the city. Now, there's three reasons why we are building over here today. One, okay, maybe four. 3 or 4. I'm just going to say, and then we can count afterwards, you know, like the whole Sesame Street ordeal. One being that I have flown past this mountain a couple times and I really want to build something cool on top of it. But that's not the only build I want over here. You know, I do want to come over here whenever I need to. Now, the build I will be doing over here isn't necessarily going to be the most hot commodity for me. Like, I'm not going to be over here a lot. But when I do want to come over here, it'd be cool to have something really cool and like tall and big on top of this mountain, just sitting in the back, like the distance or whatever. Now, the second reason being that I think it's important to get away from a big project, one being the city, and just come over to a different part of the world and add a little bit more to your world. If you're building in a big city like this for so long, then it does become a bit monotonous because you're just adding building after building and it doesn't add much of a change, I feel like. Now, if you build somewhere else in the world and you have this over here and you're still building all of this over here, you have a lot more going on than just one place, and it adds a little bit more of a story, a little bit more lore, a little bit more intrigue to the world that you're building. Number 3, I think it's important for you to do this as well, because not only does it add intrigue, like I said before, but it also prohibits burnout. Now, I'm not saying I'm burnt out at all. Actually, I'm not even close, really, because I do like what we're doing in the city. But in order to prevent burnout in a world, taking new projects in a different part of the world where it's not necessarily connected, but it is part of the world, and you can run free with a different building design or just a different thing in general, whatever you may be doing. You know, this could be a farm, you know, it prevents it. So it's always nice to do this to not only get away from burnout, but to also prevent it from happening in the first place. You know, like if you feel even a sliver of it, go do something else before you feel that feeling of burnout, because once you're in burnout, it is very hard. It's kind of like an artist block, you know, it's very hard to climb your way back out. So I'm not even close to being burnt out, but I do want to do this because I guess number 4 would be, it's also interesting for content, you know, like the past 10 episodes now, we've been building the village and building the city. And in order to keep the intrigue going, we can, and we're able to, since it's a single player world, we can build anywhere in this world. You know, we can go anywhere we want and do something else. And that's what we are doing today. Now, as you can tell by the title, we are building basically a vineyard. It's going to be called a ranch more so, but I want a sweet berry farm. Because I do have plans for a massive sweet berry field over there and like next to the city. So I do want to farm but set up like a vineyard. And I feel like this would be a really cool like place for it. Obviously, beginning of this episode, I did start out just mapping out everything and just like cleaning it up and terraforming quite a bit. I mean, it wasn't too bad, not nearly as much as I thought it was going to be, because this is a very good like spot for it section wise. Just the size of it and everything. So it wasn't too bad clearing everything out. But I do have to go all the way back and like clean out all of these materials and stuff that I did get from here. And then I am going to be mapping out where exactly I want everything. We have everything laid out now. I did go and empty all of these boxes right here. And then this, I guess we can just jump into it. This is going to be a drainage site. So I looked up a vineyard, and a like drainage work zone is going to be important. And I'm not going to go like super accurate and everything with everything else, but I do want like a little drainage site right here. So I'm going to have to look up some references of what exactly it means by that. Now over here, we do have a orchard sign. I think it would be honestly pretty relatable to have one of these next to a vineyard, and it would just give me an excuse to like add a bunch of trees right here with a couple of fruits and stuff. It's going to be hard to add fruits on the trees. I'm thinking just azalea leaves for the little pops of pink and stuff. And then this big square over here will be the vineyard. I'm going pretty big with this. Now, I want a sweet berry berry farm, like an actual one, like automated and everything. And I'm thinking about adding it underneath. So I don't know exactly how I'll hide that because I don't want just like a little tunnel entrance right here to go underneath. But I do want the sweet berry farm underneath this, and the vineyard will reach all the way down to the other side of this sand. And then over here will be an actual work zone. So, you know, where they, after they clip all of the berries and stuff, they come over here and this is where they like mush them up and make the wine and everything else. And then this big empty space right here is where the actual like ranch building will be. Now, I'm not sure if I'll have like an actual road or just like a dirt path reaching to the ranch house. And then of course we can add grass and flowers and just make this place look a little bit pretty. Since this is so wide, we have a little bit of options to go with. But I do think I want to start with the vineyard and then later move on to maybe the ranch house. I'm not quite sure because honestly just building trees is kind of boring, but I do want them here, so eventually I'll have to do it. And then that'll give me time to kind of research the drainage zone and then research like a little work zone of how exactly they like make the actual wine and everything. So let me go get some materials and then we can hop into this vineyard. I am gonna have to like do quite a bit of like, I guess, farming to get the sweet berries that I need. Maybe there's like a simple sweet berry farm I can do for now, and then come over here and just add it all into the vineyard. Now, we do have everything we need, and of course it is raining, but it's no big deal. Now, I did say everything we need to make this vineyard, but I forgot the leaves, so I can just fly back and get those. I have tons of leaves I can go get. It's no problem. But I am going to have to go look up some vineyards to see. I know they go in rows, but I don't really know how they grow, so I'm going to have to go look that up. But we can just cut into the time lapse of it. Like I said, I do have everything. Just need to go get the leaves, and then we will have a vineyard up. I don't think I'm going to have a fence or a wall around it quite yet because I'm not sure if I want a wall or a fence yet. I'm thinking either a mud brick wall, just decorate it up a little bit, or just a strict like fence and maybe some leaves on top, kind of like how I did around the sunflower field and the wheat field in last episode. Or was it? Yeah, I showed it off last episode. But other than that, we could get into this vineyard. And with that, guys, I know I said that I wasn't going to build the fence yet, but I did decide, and I went walls and fences. You know, best of both worlds. I couldn't decide, so I went walls and fences. It's honestly kind of simple, but I didn't want the fence to kind of take away from what's like going on inside. And we're gonna have the house that's standing like right over there and everything. So if you're going on inside, pretty simple stuff. You know, I got the dirt mixed in with rooted dirt, and then all of this is actually coarse dirt, of course. And then I have a little bit of glow lichen to keep the mobs away every now and then. There's probably a few spots that they can spawn, but it's no big deal. Now, I looked at wineries, and it was mostly just the sticks and then the leaves on top. That's about it. There wasn't much like berries going on, so I kind of went with the creative liberty to add in the berries in between and everything. I think it kind of just adds a lot to it compared to like the just the stakes and the leaves. But it is all done, and then I can't really remember until I start editing this, but I think I said I was going to move on to like the house part, the ranch house, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So if we go on over here, we can see that the like this is all kind of plain. I think I want to texture up along this coast a little bit. add some rocks, some mud, some coarse dirt, stuff like that, because it is kind of playing when I was flying back and forth because I forgot a few things. It was kind of playing flying in, and I kind of want to change that because I think it will add a little bit of texture and a little bit of intrigue when flying in. Like, I can always do it at the very end, but usually after I do all of this up here and texture everything up here, I'm not going to want to do this, so I might as well just get it done right now, and I can actually show you guys what I'm talking about. So flying on in, you can see what I'm talking about with the sand, and just wherever this second layer is, I am going to add a little bit of texture and some rocks, so we can do that real quick before we get into the ranch house. And we are all done with the riverbank. As you can see, this is what I was talking about, just with the mud and some grass. And then, of course, I extended the mud into the actual river, along with the seagrass to kind of blend in with the grass as you're flying in. And then these are the rocks. These are same rocks. I just flipped them every now and then to just to differentiate every one of these. Then the stone pressure plates as like little rocks, and then even little pebbles with the stone buttons. But flying in, it looks a lot better now. As you can see, it's not just grass and sand, and I extended it pretty far into the river, so it blends in super nice now. Like I said, I just wanted to get that done before I move on anywhere up here, and now I did look up the drainage site, and it didn't show much. I'm pretty sure it was just like a hole in the ground where the drainage of the the vineyard. It is basically a hole in the ground where the water comes from and like flows through a pipe underneath the vineyard. So I think I'm just gonna make a big hole right here, maybe with some like plating on the side, like stone plating, just to make sure the dirt wouldn't like fall into the hole and everything. Kind of like how if you make a custom pond, that's kind of how they do it. And then maybe like an exposed pipe right here, just to act like the pipe is going underneath all of that. And then I can expose a pipe like around here as well, going across, connected to this, and then maybe like an aqueduct up there, just so that's where the water would be like filtering everything, coming down here into the drainage site and then into the vineyard eventually. I thought it was going to be a lot more like technical than it actually is, but it's not when I looked it up. And then especially with the work zone, they don't do too much to like dry it out and everything, so this is going to be pretty simple as well. But I mean, that's kind of how it is, I guess. So I'm definitely going to get this drainage site in actually instead of the house, because since these are simple, I can just knock these two out and then we can jump into the house at a later point. And then at the very end, I can make the path and everything, and like the road, connect everything, make it pretty. Oh, over here, this is the orchid, but but I really like the way this came out, the little riverbank and everything. It's always nice to add a little bit of this every now and then wherever you're building, just to spice it up a bit. So like always, let me go get some materials and then we can start on this aqueduct and like the drainage site and everything. We now have the aqueduct all up and ready to go. As you can see from a distance, it kind of, and don't worry about the clouds right now. I did update to the newest update, so I'm on 1.21.4 now. Mostly because the ranch house I built using the pale wood. So in this episode, I will be needing to go find a pale garden because I need quite a bit of it. I went kind of big, and I need a lot of it, unfortunately. But the aqueduct is all in. I went with copper instead of like stone or anything. I think it adds a little bit more flavor, but it also kind of blends in, and it doesn't really stand out compared to everything else that will be standing out over here. But if I zoom in, it's pretty simple. The water just kind of runs through, goes down, and then I can show you the little pipe it goes down into. But I got the buttons and then a couple trap doors on top of the slabs and everything. But if you fly on down, it goes down into this pipe, which then leads all the way over here, lines up perfectly into this pipe underwater, and I added a few bit of seagrass on there just to act like it's growing on top of it. And then this pipe eventually leads to the drainage. Now I did keep it kind of simple, just a little bit of storage and everything on the sides, and especially right here, because this is where only the drainage is going to be happening. It's not really a work zone like that will be over there. And then anytime, say they need extra water or stuff like that, they can scoop it up out of this. But if we open this, actually it'd probably be better just to show it off, so I don't have to go into the actual drainage. It goes down into this pipe, and then these are extra pipes. I'm saying that these little smaller pipes coming from there, these are coming from over there. There's like a little pond over there. And then this is the major pipe that leads from the aqueduct. And then this pipe will be leading, and this is, that's the one that's under this vineyard. And that's what's like flourishing the plants and giving it water. Now, when I build the sweet berry farm underneath this, I do think it'll be cool to have like an exposed pipe under, like in the farm, wherever I build it. I feel like that'd be a cool little detail. But yeah, the vineyard is done, the aqueduct is done, and the drainage site is done. Now I do need to go find a pill garden so we can get this ranch house started, because now that everything is kind of coming together, I don't think this is going to be orchard no more. I think it's going to be like a pill forest. I think that'll be kind of cool. I have some gray, like almost like willow trees, but not as big. And then since I'm going over there anyways to get all of the leaves, I might as well get the wood while I'm there as well. And then we can start on the ranch house. But I have explored quite a bit around this place, so I might have to fly a little bit further away to find a pill garden, which is all right. We can just take the time to explore and everything, and then we can come back, get the ranch house up and this work zone up. And then the rest is just trees and texturing and making this place look pretty. And we are coming up on the pill garden. Wait, which way was it? And like I said, it was pretty far away. It is this way. Like I said, it was pretty far away, but we are here now, and I'm not really sure what to expect. I haven't really been in here. I know like the atmosphere changes when you come in. Yeah, everything is all gray. And I do kind of want to find some of the resin that grows here, just because I don't really know what I would do with it, but just because it's a new block, I think it would be pretty cool. But I need a lot of this. I might even take some of this moss. I'm gonna take some of these vines and then all of this wood. I need a lot of wood. And then I'm pretty sure the creaking kind of just spawns and you just come across it. I'm not quite sure, but I don't really need those. I'm not even gonna take its heart or anything, really. I don't know. I'm not really sure what it does. What is this? Closed eye blossom. That's pretty cool. Actually, I'm gonna take a couple of these as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna spend some time here getting everything I need, and then I'm just gonna fly back and we can start on that ranch house. This place is actually really cool. I like the vibe that goes on in here. And with that, guys, we have quite a bit of pale oak logs now. I went ahead and got some moss blocks as well. Now with the moss farm we can just replace the moss with the pale moss and it'll farm it up for us, so it's no big deal. And then we went ahead and stocked up on quite a bit of hanging moss and then some pale oak leaves. I am gonna have to go back to get some more just for the trees that we'll be building today. I need a couple more stacks of stripped pale oak logs just for the build today, and then we can actually get on into this thing. The Sweetberry Ranch was first cultivated by the elder ranger Harlan Evelo, a man who spoke to the land as if it were kin. He claimed the soil here had a spirit, one that whispered the secrets of growth and resilience. The berries that grew under his care weren't just sweet, they carried warmth, a faint ember of life itself. Villagers believed that eating them before a long journey kept the cold at bay, and some whispered that the first settlers of Silverport survived their harshest winters thanks to Everlo's harvest. Alrighty guys, we are all done with the ranch house. Now, I did use the new wood like I said I was going to, but then I also added this white terracotta along with the stripped birch and then the birch planks for the actual planks. And I think it adds some pretty cool texture, not only like up front, like up close, but from afar away, it actually looks really cool. It has like a cool little hue to it. As you can see, it adds that little cool little texture that you get in the corners and everything. And especially with the fog like covering a little bit of it, it looks really, really nice. And then for the spruce roofs, I used jungle stairs and oak stairs. And then I added I kept this side pretty plain, of course, since I have this little barrier going across. Then over here I do have a little bit of storage and things going along. And then since this is a ranch house, everyone I was looking at, the windows are all pretty much the same. So I did keep the oak trap doors on all of the windows, and I think it adds that country-ish look that I was going for this house. We got the little ladder details, and then up there as well with the orange bay window. And then going along to the back, we do have basically the same thing that is in the front, and then we have those little barriers as well. But I really do like this wood. I wish we could have just had a plain white wood and not this warm pink tint that we have with it, but it does look kind of nice with this white terracotta, so I'm not complaining too much. I definitely would have rathered a just plain white wood, but beggars can't be choosers. Now we do have a white wood, and it looks nice. And I do have the interior all done now. I went ahead and did it for you guys. We come in here, we got the paintings on the roofs, and then this little shelving storage. Maybe you can have like a little bit of wine up there, some more storage on the sides. And then as soon as you come in, I left this kind of plain just because I do have like potted plants on the walls and stuff. A little shelf over here, table over here that you can sit in. And then this would be where I keep all the sweet berries that I get from the farm. Storage corner, a little bit of sweet berries on the shelves, a little bathing area, I guess you would say this is. And then this big grand living room area with a little bit of amethyst, some candles, pots, stuff like that on the shelves to add a little bit of decor. Then if we go over here, this is where a lot of the wine will be stored. I just used these potions as the wine. And then this is the bedroom of the person that actually owns the vineyard. Everything turned out pretty nice. It did take a while to get this interior done. Like always, I feel like interiors always take the longest, unless you're doing a massive build, but then that's a massive interior you have to do. And then we also did get this done over here. Got this little work zone. I looked up the process, and I basically have all of the processes. This, I think, just like crushes the berries and everything and pours them into juice, and then you put it in this tank, which fertilizes it, I think. And then you use this and you put them in here, which pressurizes it into actual wine. And then, of course, you got to age them in these barrels over here. A little bit of storage on the side, decorative anvils, of course. And then I did add a lot more texture. I just got in the zone. I just wanted to keep building. So I did add a few more fences to kind of map everything out. But if you fly on up, you can see I did add patches of wheat going everywhere, and I just bone milled a lot of it. Add some more rocks going along, and then this is like basically the end of the vineyard to kind of mark it out with the fences. So basically, really, we only have the trees left. Now, I did change my mind from an orchard to using the new leaves to make like sort of willow trees, but I do think I'm going back to the orchid idea just because I do think it will fit the style that I'm going for over here. Plus, it gives us room to kind of play around with the new leaves in a future episode, just so it would be separate from this one. So now I do have them all planned out, and then I can always just add the farm underneath here and just in between episodes, so I can get these sweet berries going for the future field that I do want to do in the big city, like I mentioned. Now, if we get these trees in, I'm just gonna like connect this, and then we are basically all done here. And with this orchard going in and the ranch house up with the sweet berry vineyard, everything's textured up. We got the drainage site, we got the work zone. I think we are ready to call this episode. Now I did go with the cherry leaves and then a little bit of lime terracotta and then azalea leaves for like little berries. What these like fruits that are growing are, no clue. I have no idea. But that's about the only thing you can do with this type of thing, when it comes to like fruit trees and just custom trees in general. But with this orchid in and everything else is done, I do think this is a good place to call this episode. Just remember, you are loved, I love you, and peace out.